I should mention that dividing the show into acts was unheard of at the time. A lot of fans divide Toku shows into halves, but this one actually did it. Don't expect a huge tone shift or a lot of corporate meddling, but some things do change. For example, the storyteller no longer appears on the show, save for one filler episode, and the yokai begin to explain their own legends/origins. One could say that this half of the series is more serious and dark as opposed to the first half, which is more campy and lighthearted, but I'll let you folks at home decide. Anyway, each team member must go on a solo quest to find the scroll, but they have to pass tests to earn the scroll. Sound familiar? I don't want to give too much away because these are really great character building stories in their own right, so I'll broad stroke it as best I can, okay? Sasuke begins his quest by dating Mei from Zyuranger. Lucky bastard. Tsuruhime, well, she kinda proves her leader status and then some. I'll come back to this later. Seikai and Saizo, who travel together for some reason, I don't know why, have a case of identity crisis. And last but certainly not least, Jiraiya has to face his past. This and Tsuruhime's is as close as I'm ever gonna get to spoiling these episodes. Jiraiya meets his ninja teacher named Gali, who appears to be working for the yokai.
やはり戻ってきたな、ジライヤ。待っていたぞ。
先生。やっぱり先生になったんですね。先生!
Keep away! 来るな!
先生!
私はお前を倒し日本にやってきた。
Wait, is that? Ah!
What's with you?
That is Sho effing Kosugi, one of the greatest warriors who ever walked the planet.
Wait, wasn't he that evil ninja in that show you reviewed a long time ago? And what happened to your review show? You just sort of stopped.
Oh, who remembers?
While we're on the subject, the actor playing Jiraiya is also Sho Kosugi's son, Kane Kosugi. Since he was brought up in the States, he, like his father, is fluent in English and Japanese. Anyway, back to the episode. Sasuke shows up to help, but Sandai tells him to let him handle this one on his own. It's his trial to get the shinobi scroll. Long story short, the trials are passed and each member claims a scroll. Each one releases a Super Ninja Beast, or Choninju. Phrasing. Phrasing. Hey! Phrasing! Alright, play the clip, get it over with.
Adam? Adam, what's wrong?
I'm a frog.
Yes, a frog. Like the one you kiss. To get a handsome prince.
The team six their new mechs on Prince Jr. and seem to be winning at first, until Oda Nobunaga shows up. This new warrior, named Hakumenro, is actually here to help revive Daimao. No, not that Daimao, silly. Actually, he's known as the Infernal King, but to avoid confusion, I'm just gonna call him the King for short. Tsuruhime is shocked to discover that...
そんな... お父様?
久しぶりだ。鶴姫。
お父様。お父様!
Apparently her father and brothers went to stop the yokai a long time ago by themselves, and failed.
太郎次郎は行方不明になり、殿は命と引き換えに妖怪の仲間になれと言われ、それで。そんな それが本当ならどうして今まで黙ってたんだよ。
I didn't tell her, the team, or the audience because I didn't think it was important. My bad. Junior chews Hakumenro out for interfering with his fight, but then Daddy shows up to say that his son isn't cutting the mustard. Tsuruhime is reluctant to fight her father, who seems devoted to his yokai captors. Or is he? Holy crap! If this is how Tsuruhime's father treats her teammates, then I hate to think how he treats the guy who wants to date her. Hey, Mr. Hakumenro. Tsuruhime and I are supposed to go on a date tonight. I'm here to pick her up. We're like going to the cage fights and then a sleazy dive. So if you could like call the chick downstairs or something, man, that'd be great. Tsuruhime sees enough of her friends getting beaten and decides to fight back, but she doesn't fare very well. Sandaiyu retreats with her while his apprentice named Boone saves the guys. Oh yeah, Sandaiyu took on an apprentice while he was gone. Boone has a pair of attack dogs that are always by his side. Meanwhile, Junior, getting tired of being shown up by a human lackey, decides to hit the team where it hurts. The team goes to avenge him, but are still outmatched. Luckily, Tsubasa-maru appears to give Sasuke a new weapon, Hikari-maru, the Thunder Sword. Wait a second, why does Sasuke get the new sword? It's not like he's the leader of the team. And to my knowledge, no one else ever uses it. Is it because he's Red Senshi, therefore he gets new weapons that no one else can use? Meh, semantics. The new weapon does help beat Junior back, but he grows big. Our heroes call their mechs, but this time he's ready for them. Dr. Yugami gives him an arm cannon blaster? My god, he is Dr. Wily. Well, there's only one thing to stop Old Skull and Crossbones now. Time to combine. And to finish the job, they combine.
だな。私がやられるなんて。父上。ジュニア様。
Killed by falling plaster. Oh god, I suck. Now with Junior dead and the seal broken, the flying city falls back to Earth, and everyone turns back to normal. Oh, what a glorious ending to this marvelous Sentai.
教えてくれサンダユ。鶴姫の A さんは人間の味方なのか。
諦めるんよ。殿はお前たちを助けた。だがそれはお前たちを不憫と思ったからで、本当はやっぱり人間を裏切ってるんよ。
そんな。
負けるんやないけんな。殿、これでいいんですね。
Well, they may have beaten the prince, but...
Behold the king of kings. On your knees, dog. All hail. Bow down to the king.
Zeddy!
What? Rita, you know this intruder?
Meet Master Vile! My father!
The Infernal King has arrived. By the way, does anyone else think that he looks like a mutated Ray Charles? Well, either way, I think the team is gonna need some help. Later on, someone who is totally an enemy, not a spy, sends our heroes a message that a great power is heading to Earth. And the king knows that only one of Tsuruhime's blood can unlock it. And wouldn't you know it, some kids find it first.
Who's out there? I want answers!
誰なんだお前
Why, you snippety upstart!
忍者マン変な名前
What a rude little girl you are!
Our captive friend here asks the kids to free him from the jar, but they can't remove the hammer. The Kakurangers show up, but they don't know how to get him out either. Couldn't Dad have put only Tsuruhime can break the jar on that note? Or did he just run out of space? Our captive audience member here says that he was once an apprentice to the Heavenly Triad. But unfortunately, he was tricked into killing innocent people who he thought were yokai in disguise, and was sealed away in the jar as punishment. Tsuruhime resonates with the hammer, and eventually she frees Ninja Man. Ninja Man comes equipped with his own cool katana, a flying nimbus, and he can grow giant-sized at will. During the battle, the yokai calls Ninja Man a novice. He don't like that.
前の力はそんなものか、この青二歳めが。
青二歳だと。青二歳だと。大爆発。なんだ。サムライマン剣山。これが俺の本当の姿、サムライマンだ。行くぞバッキー。Let's go!
やった
Could you imagine if every new fan could do that in a Facebook group or a forum? The body count would be catastrophic. The king is less than pleased that he didn't get Ninja Man's power and swears revenge. Ninja Man, while not a sixth member of the team, is actually more of an extra hero as opposed to his predecessors. He shows up to help when needed and doesn't move in with the others. He's more support than anything. He joins them in giant battles, and every time he does, a yokai calls him a novice, he gets pissed off and kicks their asses. My god, you think the yokai would learn by now? Don't call Ninja Man a novice. It's the kiss of death. Why can't the king just gather everybody and say, alright, listen everybody, don't call Ninja Man a novice in battle. It flips on his badass switch and makes you all dead.
There's a simple explanation for that.
Damn it, Gosei! Later on, Hakumenro meets with Bun in secret and tells them that the king is stalking Ninja Man. And sure enough, the king makes a doppelganger of himself named Dara Dara. Ninja Man gets captured by this clone and his power is taken away and used against our heroes, covering them in goop. Gross. The team fights back with Super Great Kakure Shogun, but it's still too powerful. And even worse, when they hurt the doppelganger, they hurt Ninja Man, much like a voodoo doll. All three mechs fall back and tell our heroes to meet with Hakumenro, to basically confirm what we've all known for a while now, that he's actually on their side. But...
It's a trap!
so as to not blow his cover, he has to play along and attack. The team gets caught in nets and dragged away, all except Sasuke, who falls into the water. Did Ino write this? Now that most of the team is caught, Dara Dara takes their powers and lays waste to the city. The citizens become poisoned by his goo. Why do I get the feeling this was the inspiration for Ivan Ooze? The Heavenly Triad tries to fight Dara Dara by themselves at the risk of hurting our heroes, and spoiler alert, they get their heavenly butts trashed. You know, for three wise sages, they really didn't think this through. Sasuke fights for his life against the Flower Kunoichi gang, but he's saved by two mysterious ninjas, who are also Bun's attack dogs. Go figure. Man, remind me to be nicer to dogs in the future. Meet Taro and Jiro, Tsuruhime's long-lost brothers. It turns out they were turned into dogs by the king when captured with their father.
義輝殿は白面狼と名乗りチャンスを伺い密かに文と一緒に僕たちを逃がしたんだ。
僕本当は妖怪なんだ。
文は悪い妖怪にいじめられてるのを義輝殿に助けられたんだ。僕たちが人間に戻っていられるのはほんの一瞬だけなんだ。今度戻った時僕たち二人は死んでしまう。太郎 これは殿が残したダラダラを倒す手がかりだ。その地図を頼りに早く鶴姫たちを助けに行ってくれ、サスケ。
Sasuke storms the yokai mansion head-on like a badass, slashing the king enough times to damage the clone and returning the team's power to them. The king literally brings the house down when he starts losing.
青鬼サイだとこっちこそ貴様をひねり潰してやるぜ。怒り爆発。
He never learns, does he? The king retreats after enough losing and the poison ooze is gone. And now with his cover blown, Hakumenro is at the king's mercy. In a fit of rage, the king casts Petrify on him. He decides to keep him around for decorations, I guess. And then he summons yet another flying castle in the shape of a skull.
I'll get you next time, Gadget. Next time.
In the beginning of the final arc, our heroes go to investigate a mountain where people are disappearing. But much like a Nightmare on Elm Street movie, they begin to go in circles, until they find a house that looks safe, on the outside anyway. Two yokai explain their plan to the king on how to trap the Kakurangers, and these two are his brother and sister. Awahawa? The king has siblings? Well, it's the first I'm hearing of it. I think a plot point just spilled all over us here, Toku faithful. Well, the team discovers that the mountain is alive, and it's a yokai, which they deal with accordingly. The sister yokai gets away and decides to help the king instead.
弟を倒され、カクレンジャーが今まで以上に憎いか。もちろん。それでいいのだ。私はお前のその怒りが欲しかったのだ。ついにカクレンジャーと最後の決戦をする時が来た。復讐心に燃えた我が妹の体内に新たなるパワーを送り込むのだ。
Well, that's f***ing ominous.
The king then unpetrifies Hakumenro and sends him to attack. When Tsuruhime goes to hug him, well, he unleashes the hurting. She tries to reason with him, but she's literally now arguing with a brick wall. Well, that's, dark. Toei, you might want to think about toning down the next series of Scotch. Oh. Forget I said that. The sister yokai named Yamanba shows up with the Kunoichi gang as backup. They soon turn the civilians against Tsuruhime and our heroes. All the anger and hatred from the people give off a tutti-frutti flavor which the king begins to gobble up like Skittles. So he feeds off the anger and hatred of human beings. But enough about Donald Trump.
Taste the rainbow of fruit pain.
Yamanba tells Tsuruhime that there is one way to stop her berserk father from killing anyone else. By stabbing him in the heart with a special sword. Ah, it's the old sacrifice the loved ones to save the world gambit. And of course, Tsuruhime is hesitant to do this. The Heavenly Triad appears and points the others toward the beam of hate light. Yeah, I can see how you'd miss that. Anyway, it's taking form, becoming anger and rage clouds. Yes, no joke, anger and rage clouds. They tell them about Tsuruhime's predicament and that the king must be stopped, not Hakumenro. Yank! It seems the king is holding all the aces here, though. If Tsuruhime kills her father, she'll be crippled emotionally and can't fight. Or she doesn't, and he continues the destruction. Either way, he wins. The others search for Tsuruhime, but she leaves them a note saying that she's going to kill her father with the sword. They go to the cave to try and stop her, but Yamanba and the Kunoichi gang get in the way. Luckily, Boone and his dogs come to help, and Sasuke barely gets to her in time. What the actual hell, Sasuke? He stops her, but Yamanba grows big and Hakumenro wakes up. Now they've got two problems to deal with. The cave begins to, well, cave in, so they have to depart. It seems like a no-win situation, but Taro and Jiro break their spell one last time to save their sister. The team transforms and call their mechs to stop Yamanba, but her anger and rage give her the edge.
Good. I could use every ounce of your rage.
The king watches the battle and goes on a rant how humans are evil and blah blah blah. Man, we sure could use a Nozomu speech right about now.
確かに僕たち地球を汚したりひどいことしてるかもしれない。でもみんなそんなの良くないって思ってて。
But then our heroes, well, for lack of a better term, see the good.
こんな荒れ果てたところでもたくましく生き延びる力を持っている。俺たちだって負けるはずがねえ。
その通りだ、サスケ。
その声は三神将。
町の人々を見よ。
正しいことをしようとする勇気、
命を大切にする気持ち、そして愛情と未来に対する希望。
人はどんなに辛いことがあっても諦めたりはしない。その人たちのために立て、隠れんじゃ。人々に愛と希望と勇気の光を与えるのだ。
Now get up, you sons of bitches! I didn't hear no bell. Then she makes the mistake of calling our heroes novices. I don't have to tell you what happens next. Wait a second, doesn't Ninja Man getting pissed off and fighting contradict your whole message of peace 1 minute ago? Ah, forget it. Tsuruhime goes to find her father and Bun leads them to him. Unfortunately, Taro and Jiro are dying. If they turned human once more, they would die. They say their goodbyes and with their last ounce of energy save her father. But it's not over yet. He appears in person and blasts them all. It seems like he's absorbed enough hate and anger from humans to become overpowered. The team transforms and goes to fight one last time, but the Heavenly Triad appears and tells them that's exactly what the king wants them to do. The king is made of and thrives on human hate. It's what gave him his power, so in short, you can't fight hate with hate.
お前たちは妖怪ヤマンバを倒し憎しみの力を葬り去った。だが大魔王を切り捨てれば一旦消えた憎しみが再び人間の間に生まれ、今まで滅んだ妖怪たちも全て復活してしまう。
So they need to lock him back into the sealed door. Alive. This is their final test. Oh, great. That should be easy. You know what, guys? Move aside. I'll take care of him. Come on, give me a clear shot.
Do not go there, my son. When you hate with power, you give power to your hate.
Well, what the hell am I supposed to do then? Just give him a big old hug and kiss?
Well,
how about no, but hell no? Now, if the target was Shalinda, on the other hand, maybe then. The king tries killing people and causing all kinds of havoc to get under our hero's skin. So basically, he watched Return of the Jedi and is pulling a Palpatine.
Good. Use your aggressive feelings, boy. Let the hate flow through you.
They soon realize that they can't get rid of anger, but rather they must suppress it. Seal it away, if you will. The five transform again, and the king sends the Kunoichi gang after them. They're able to grab the king and are then teleported back to the cave. Sasuke calls for the Door of Seals, and the Triad turns the Hana Rangers back into cats.
Kitty, kitty, kitty!
And much like all the Winslows working together to cast out the dreaded and annoying Urkel, the team forces the king back into the door and seal it off with their Doron changers. The Triad thanks them and bid farewell, along with Ninja Man. Oh, and Ninja Man. In a few years, if you try to help a little girl from a bunch of escaped zoo animals, well, don't be surprised if you end up helping a bunch of pirates to pay it off. Just a heads up. So Tsuruhime is back with her father, the yokai sulk because they can't use their powers anymore, and our heroes ride off into the sunset with Nekomaru. And that was Ninja Sentai Kakuranger. Well, time for pros and cons. The parts of this show. The fact that this show was technically cut into 2 story arcs was unheard of at the time. While it wasn't a complete retooling of the show to boost ratings like Hibiki, it was more of a different style of storytelling, while at the same time keeping the core concept there. I kinda wish more Toku shows were done like this. It was an ambitious move on the creator's part. This is a minor nitpick, but the king has siblings. Why did they not appear until the very end of the series? Why didn't the writers create an internal power struggle among the yokai? Why didn't Yamanba visit Prince Jr. and try to turn him against his father? Or say not to trust him? I don't know, it just feels like they were brought in hastily and defeated just as quickly by our heroes. Felt like a waste of potential. Tsuruhime as the leader. Besides the obvious reasons, she's a female, and the show even acknowledges her as the leader. I know I mentioned how tough and brutal she can be in my top 10 badass babes of Super Sentai list, but that's not what makes her a good leader. A good example is episode 26. At first it seems like she's being singled out because she's the girl and needs fake men to help her out. At first glance, this seems incredibly sexist. But as they go on and are picked off one by the yokai, she becomes concerned for them, as if they were the real team members. Being a leader doesn't always mean being the strongest or the best. A good leader means being the one to put others before themselves, being the glue that holds a team together. Hear me out here. Let's look at another female leader, Sailor Moon. She's a crybaby, she's not tough, she's nowhere near the strongest member of the team, but her kind nature and concern for others is what makes her leader. Is this still a tad sexist because she's the woman? Maybe. Does this make her inferior to her male teammates? Hardly. Look, I'm all for strong women in tokusatsu. Hell, I've made a running gag out of it. But sometimes we overlook how important a female member's compassion can be for a Super Sentai team. But having strength helps sometimes too. I think James Earl Jones put it best.
I'll say this only once. A team is not a team if you don't give a damn about one another.
Ninja Man. He's a mixed bag. He's not a sixth member of the team, he's not a mentor of the team, but he's also not a tool to whip out like some other extra heroes. While I like this approach, I think the yokai called him a novice one too many times. It got to the point where you were just waiting for it and rolling your eyes at it when it happened. I know that Super Sentai relies on repetition, but still. This can get on my nerves a bit. Good character, annoying trope. Final analysis, I give it an A. It's a great Sentai series. This Super Sentai series took risks, and did things that no other series was doing at the time, and that very few other Sins have done. The Red Senshi isn't the leader, but is no less a badass. And the story revolves around the only female member of the team. The team is homeless, they make a living selling treats out of a cat truck. This is an ambitious series. I love how the team starts off as a bunch of slackers and loners and become a cohesive, united Sentai team. The yokai are also great to watch, and a wonderful take on Japanese legends and folklore. The sentient godlike mechs are actually handled much better here than they were in Zyuranger. In the end, there is very little to hate about this band of traveling ninjas, so give it a watch if you haven't already. This series does not hide how good it is. Well, that's all for now. Until the next Toku time, ahem. Alright, old man, I'll bite. What is it? What is so important that I have to do to save the world?
I'm glad you asked. I put it on this ancient scroll.
Hey, this ain't an ancient scroll. This was printed on recycled paper.
Just read it.
There, finished. Now, you're sure there are yokai hiding in here, right?
Yes, I think they are. Now go take care of my dogs.
Fine. I'm Easy Rider reminding you that the fan sub will never die. You sure you're not my brother in disguise? Nah.
Very, very happy. ハイな気分だぜ。
ジライア、どうしたんだ？
やめろジライア。
あ